the Honorable Elizabeth Dowdswell, Lieutenant Governor. Yes. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Visitors crowded the Fort William Historical Park today to catch a glimpse of the Grand Rendezvous arrival reenactment. The event featured a canoe flotilla of over 10 canoes and 200 reenactors. The event also had a special guest, the Honorable Elizabeth Dowdswell, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. Jessica Clement was there.
Over 200 reenactors from across North America were brought together this week to recreate the annual summer gathering held at Fort William over 200 years ago. Saturday's activities featured the much-anticipated Grand Rendezvous arrival that had a canoe flotilla of over 10 canoes. Visitors were able to catch a glimpse of what Fort William would have looked like back in the 1800s and learn all about what the Great Rendezvous was. Reenactor Mitchell Seguin says their new motto, Bringing Life to History, is an important message for them.
Not only do we want to show and prove what life in 1815 would have been like, we pride ourselves on giving a very authentic, immersive, hands-on experience that you really can't get at a lot of other places. But at the same time, we want to teach, educate, enlighten people, doing what we can for truth and reconciliation, creating and preserving bonds. Very important.
The event had a number of dignitaries participate, who all spoke about the impact Fort William Historical Park has had over the past 50 years, including special guest Elizabeth Dowdswell, the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. She said the story of the fort is an important one to tell.
It's a story of identity, a story of resilience, a story about the great things we can do when we work together. Most importantly, it's a story that is emblematic of the great Northern Ontario spirit. This place has always been significant to the history of Ontario as a province, and indeed Canada, as it bridged the East and the West.
General Manager Patrick Morash says thousands of people have come out to the fort over the past week, and adds that it's been exciting being able to host the Great Rendezvous celebration again after 12 years.
The place is full of life. There are reenactors throughout the park. There are people who have been here multiple times. There are people who have never been here before. There are lots and lots of kids running around and playing and doing all sorts of fun things. It's just really, really encouraging to see the response.
If you missed the fun on Saturday, don't worry. Sunday is the final day of the Great Rendezvous celebration. It will feature more activities, demonstrations, and presentations. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
The Transportation Museum invited residents to come out to their headquarters at Pool 6 today to celebrate the Canadian Coast Guard and the city's maritime history. The day started off with a parade of the Royal Canadian Navy Color Party and the Thunder Bay Pipes and Drums, before going into speeches that included the recognition and commemoration of the contributions and role of the Canadian Coast Guard. The event also included a joint celebration of the 100th anniversary of the Royal Canadian Naval Reserves and a visit by the CCGS Samuel Risley and other patrol crafts. The rest of the day featured free tours, displays, and a special dockside market with local vendors. Museum Vice Chair Robert Kilgour says the event highlights the importance of the community's relationship with the Canadian Coast Guard.
As a community that has been based around the water, is truly in the truest sense a maritime community, we are dependent on organizations and services to make it possible for us to do business, to bring people to the community. For many years, there were no roads or highways, and water was it. And I think the connection that we have with the Canadian Coast Guard and the services they provide are profound.
I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm thrilled to showcase the people that work for me that are here on these vessels, because they truly are our everyday heroes. They're the ones that are going out. They sacrifice time away from their families in order to serve the Canadian public. So I'm thrilled that we can have this showcase for them and recognition for them, because oftentimes they're not recognized enough.
The OPP have charged one person with murder in connection with a death in the town of Marathon. Members of the Marathon OPP detachment responded to an incident before 1:30 this morning where they found 39-year-old Charity Bittern Moses with life-threatening injuries. The victim was transported to hospital and later pronounced deceased. As a result of the investigation, 20-year-old Dallas Malley of Marathon was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Malley was remanded into custody and is scheduled to appear before the Ontario Court of Justice in Thunder Bay on July 20th. The investigation is still ongoing, with a post-mortem examination to be conducted at a later date in Toronto. Behind Racism, the newest exhibit at the Thunder Bay Museum is asking visitors to challenge their own assumptions as they learn about the science behind racism and how bias works in the human mind. The exhibit includes interactive displays suitable for young and old alike. Museum goers can test their own implicit biases and get the facts about racism and its impacts in Canada. The touring exhibit was developed by the Ontario Science Centre, and CEO Paul Courtenard hopes to move the needle on racism across the country.
Like there's an exhibit right here next to us that asks us to think about, do we recognize people as being part of our team? Do we recognize them as being part of another team? And how then do I choose who I'm engaging with, or how I'm going to move forward, who I give preferential treatment to? And those are all unconscious things we take on because we're making split-second decisions.
There's been a lot of conversations in town about racism, about bias, and a lot of things going around about our police service, our government, organizations in town, incidents and crimes being committed based on these premises. And so we've thought, what better way to do something about that, to not be a neutral institution and to take action than to bring an exhibit in that addresses how people deal with their bias.
Museum Executive Director Scott Bradley says understanding the science of how people think is an important way of viewing history. He hopes that people who are open-minded and have a willingness to look at themselves will come to the exhibit and find the tools to become better people. A controversy is stirring at Patricia Gardens facility in Dryden, where residents are expressing concern over what they say is a lack of transparency concerning the state of empty units in the building. Patricia Gardens, an assisted living complex for seniors, does not have a published wait list for a room, but if Princess Court is any measure, that's the long-term care facility next door, it could be a long wait. That scarcity for rooms and what's being called a lack of transparency is what has community members expressing confusion about the 10 or so units that have been vacant for months. Foot care nurse and RN Susan Paquette has been ringing the alarm out of concern for her clients who live there.
When it's a big secret, people start jumping to conclusions and filling in their own blanks, and they're thinking, what actually is going on? The one resident kind of made a joke. She said to me, I wonder where we'll go if we get kicked out. I don't think that's going to happen at all, but that means that if they haven't got answers, they're fearful.
After a request for comment, the chair for Dryden District Senior Services, Martin McKinnon, provided a statement explaining that negotiations involving multiple organizations are underway, and until that process is complete, no vacant spaces can be filled. He also promises to share more details as they become available. 4 students have completed the Ascend Accelerator program at Lakehead University. It's a 10-week business boot camp that sees aspiring business owners provided with funding and mentorship.
Codes that are going to be placed on these lockers, and it'll take them directly to their website.
The Ascend program's 3rd cohort celebrated the completion of the program, which included weekly workshops, valuable mentorships, and access to FedNor funding. Participants presented their businesses this past week in Lakehead's business incubator, the Ingenuity Space, which hosted this year's program.
It's been a journey, a really helpful journey. I've learned so much that I can probably apply to my other businesses. Like, it's always like scary to make that first entrepreneurial jump. I wasn't sure what to do. I didn't know where to start. Like, I knew how to do the art, but like knowing the art and knowing the business, two different things.
Whereas I get to give them the business information, I learn about the industry through them. So, I don't know anything about nails myself, but she comes in, I get to learn some things, and then I get to help her learn the business half of it, and the same with the others.
Well, this is my actually my second year applying for the program. I initially applied in the beginning with another business, was unsuccessful in that one, and then I, again through trying to, I'm an entrepreneur at heart, right? So trying to, find a viable way to bring, what's in my mind out into the world, right? I created the locker system.
As we test markets, sometimes we have to turn around and say, what we thought was going to actually happen isn't going to happen.
The 10-week program is free to businesses founded by Lakehead University students or alumni who have graduated in the past year. We're now joined by sports anchor Joe Sadowski. It's a great weekend for tennis fans as tomorrow night we're going to have the finals for the men's down in Wimbledon, but tonight it's the women's final.
Yeah, well, this morning, actually, Mitch, was the women's final, and it was unbelievable. And the more I watch tennis, the more I appreciate how difficult this sport is.
It's hard.
It's so hard. And on the grass courts of Wimbledon, we'll have that story and more highlights coming up right after the break.
Welcome back, and we jump to the women's final from this morning. Really a big underdog story, something you really only see in movies.
I think there's going to be a Disney movie made.
There might be,
about this. Check Disney Plus in a couple weeks. But this morning was the women's Wimbledon final between the unranked Marketa Vandrosilva and Ons Jabeur. Now, this is Jabeur's third finals appearance in the last 5 major tournaments. You'd like to think it could be third time's the charm at against an unranked opponent, but it was Vandrosilva who made tennis history. Ons Jabeur taking on Marketa Vandrousova in the women's final. Both players seeking their first Grand Slam title. Opening set, Jabeur up a break point at 4-2, facing triple break point. Vandrousova with a nice forehand return. She only had 4 wins on grass courts entering this tournament. Unbelievable stuff. Now at 4-all, Vandrousova with double break point. Jabeur makes the unforced error, and Jabeur ranked 6th entering this Wimbledon, but the young unseeded Vandrousova takes the first set. In the second set now, after Vandrousova broke to win her 5th consecutive game, Jabeur with a break point to even it up, looking to be the first African-born player to win a Grand Slam singles title. Jabeur would take that set after forcing the swinging volley, one of her 4 breaks in the match that ties things at 1. Now at 4-all, Vandrousova with a break point, and Jabeur makes one of her 31 unforced errors, giving Vandrousova a chance to serve for the Wimbledon title, and now on double match point.
Who could have dreamt this? Marketa Vandrousova, Wimbledon champion.
Marketa Vandrousova wins her first Grand Slam title and becomes the first unranked woman in women's history to win at Wimbledon. With Vandrousova crowned Wimbledon champion, the men's side is set for a battle between 2 titans. It's the young, up-and-coming, dominant superstar against the vet and arguably one of, if not the, greatest of all time in the realm of tennis. It's Carlos Alcaraz versus Novak Djokovic tomorrow in the men's Wimbledon final. Shifting things over to the local diamond, where the Thunder Bay Border Cats entered Game 4 against the Waterloo Bucks last night, having lost every game on their road trip so far. The Cats, things are looking grim, but they had a chance to finally get back in the win column, but mistakes and poor pitching cost them late in this contest. We'll jump right into the 6th inning. Cats with a tying run 90 feet away, and Jack Nathan throws a wild pitch, and Cole Ketzner scores to tie things at 2. But later on, that's Will Droll pitching for the Cats. He lets one hang. Brendan Fish cashes in and hits a base hit to left. That, if you count that, Peter Fusick just missed that, and the Bucks would make it 5-2 with the bases loaded. And things would only get worse for the Cats. Droll lets another one hang for a base hit. That would bring in another run, extending the Bucks' lead to 4. And things would only get worse for the Cats. The Bucks would add 2 more to extend their winning streak to 9 games and stun the Border Cats with their 6th straight loss, 8-3 the final. The Cats' second half record is 2-10, and they're 9 games back of a playoff spot. But on the bright side, tonight the Cats are finally back at Port Arthur Stadium for a 4-game homestand and a 2-game series that's already underway against the Mankato Moondogs. We'll stay on the diamond, where the Toronto Blue Jays are in the midst of a 3-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yesterday, they torched the D-backs 7-2, and this afternoon was no different. Bottom second, George Springer, he lines one to left with the bases loaded. That one brings in Whit Merrifield and Alejandro Kirk to make it 2-0 Blue Jays. But in the top of the 4th, Whit Merrifield is up to bat.
Fly ball to left, pretty well hit. Carroll going back, and it is gone!
Big play Whit getting it done to give the Jays the lead back with his 6th home run of the season to make it 3-2. But now fast forward to the top of the 8th with Bo Bichette.
Bichette gets into one. Make a catch, Jimmy. Home run, Bo Bichette. It is 4-2.
Bichette with the solo shot would be the icing on the cake. The Jays win 5-2 the final and take the series with Game 3 tomorrow afternoon. The Scottish Open may be considered a warm-up tournament for the major next weekend, the Open Championship at Royal Liverpool Golf Course, but this weekend can give you an idea on who's on a hot streak, and Rory McIlroy, needless to say, took the lead yesterday and has not looked back as he continued his dominance in the third round. We'll start right on the first hole. Rory McIlroy just absolutely dialed in. He started off hot. That's a pitching wedge from about $136 out, but check the spin out on that one. Goes right towards the hole. He's starting his third round with a statement on the first hole. Later on, this is the 7th. He's in great shape after finding another fairway off the tee. His irons were just on another level today. Putting can be very easy when you can put it that close almost every single time. Now on to the back nine. McIlroy hit this tee shot over 350, and now he's got a long iron in on this long par 5. And ladies and gentlemen, you cannot draw it up any nicer than that. He cleaned that up for birdie with a great start to his back nine. Moving on to the par 3 14th, McIlroy has birdied this hole every single day this tournament. Yep, 3 birdies, 3 attempts. He owns this hole. Rory is sitting at 13 under for the tournament, giving him a one-shot lead over Tom Kim. Now, this one is fun. We all know Steph Curry is a generational talent on the basketball court. He's the greatest shooter in NBA history, and the guy's a future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. But if you weren't already aware, the guy could tear it up on the golf course, and today was absolutely no exception.
Earlier today and in previous years, and it's obvious he can really play.
Boy, this is right at it if it gets there. How about that?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Well, hey, Raj, all I'll say is this. I think he pulled the right club. Oh, my goodness gracious. He may not stop till he gets to the Bay Area.
What can't this guy do? Just incredible stuff from Steph, and the reaction makes it so much better. Makes me think about what I would do if I ever got a hole-in-one. Now, this is one of the wildest stories this year. It's been in the MLS. Lionel Messi, fresh off his first ever World Cup win, is cementing himself in soccer history. He's officially signed his deal with Inter Miami. Lionel Messi will make his debut for Inter Miami July 21st. One of the greatest talents in sports history is making it official and inking his contract with Inter Miami. To put it in perspective, if you wanted to see Messi in Miami live, the cheapest ticket on sale right now costs more than my car, close to $1,600, and while the most expensive ticket is worth around $23,000. You want to put a down payment on a house or see the GOAT on the pitch? I'm just thinking about how packed a TFC game would be when Messi comes to town. The deal will be for 2.5 seasons and will be worth roughly between 50 and 60 million annually. It's just banana lands, Mitch. I cannot believe Lionel Messi, but I want to go back to Steph Curry.
Yeah.
I have told you, we've been golfing before, I have told you, if I ever get a hole-in-one, I am dropping everything and I'm going right to Vegas. It's just that amount of luck it takes. But Steph Curry, the guy's a natural athlete.
It's like he took the Splash Brothers from basketball into the golf course. It didn't even roll in, it dunked it.
Yeah.
He's just amazing.
From way downtown.
Maybe we can see a card this year on the PGA Tour play one of the events.
That'd be sick. Oh, I'd love that.
He's playing great.
He is playing phenomenal.
We would have to see, but then Clay's got to be his caddy.
I think so too.
So
maybe
we can see it happen. Not as great as the shot we just saw for weather, as there is a lot of rain on the way. We'll have those details after the break. Welcome back, and there is some rain on the way making its way to Thunder Bay. First, we're going to head out west where the temperature is fairly warm throughout the day. Currently in Vancouver, up to 28, feeling like 33 with the Humidex. Clear skies throughout the day heading into tonight, while over in Toronto, there is some rain making its way to the area. Could see some thunderstorms as well. Currently cloudy skies at 23. In St. John's, a little bit cooler, sitting around average with clouds in the area at 23. Also could see a little bit of rain, but most of the rain is going to be heading to Charlottetown and Halifax heading into tonight. Now, as for tonight in the region, some rain, especially out west in Red Lake, seeing temperatures around 10 along with Fort Francis. They're going to see drizzle throughout the night heading into tomorrow, and can also see a chance of some thunderstorms, while Greenstone at 9 is going to be fairly clear throughout the night along with clouds, in Sault Ste. Marie at 14. Tomorrow, temperatures fairly cold. The average for this time of year is around 23.6, so especially cold out west. Still seeing rain in Red Lake at 17 with thunderstorms at Fort Francis at 18. Also some rain making its way farther east in Greenstone at 20, and a little bit warmer in Sault Ste. Marie at 23, getting a little bit of sunshine throughout the day. At this hour, it is mostly cloudy. The wind from the southwest 10 to 17 kilometers an hour, and we are seeing temperatures up to 21, while tonight it's going to drop down a little bit warmer, sitting around 13. There is a very slight chance we could see a little bit of rain overnight, but it is expected to just be partly cloudy, with the wind gusting from the west-northwest 7 to 19 kilometers an hour. Now, for the rest of the week, like I was saying, rain is on the way. Sunday, we're going to see showers in the afternoon heading throughout the day, and those are going to last going into Monday. Temperatures 19 on Sunday, a little bit warmer on Monday. The showers we are going to see are going to be mainly in the morning, clearing throughout the day. Also 22 on Tuesday. The rain finally getting a break, so we are going to get some sunshine on Tuesday, which is very nice because it's not going to last very long. So if you are going to head out anytime this week, Tuesday is your day to get outside. Wednesday, it is going to be mostly cloudy, but chance of showers later in the night. Temperatures pretty cold on Wednesday, down to 17. And as we make our way to Thursday, it's going to be cloudy with thunderstorms rolling in. The temperatures are going to be a lot warmer, up to 24, but thunderstorms are on the way, and we could see that system stick around heading into the weekend. So a lot of rain on the way. The rain isn't the nicest, but I want to go back to the Messi deal because TFC, he's got to be down there at one point. Do you think the tickets are going to be $1,600 when he gets down there?
No, honestly, I think they'll be more. Like, just think about how expensive Leafs tickets are.
I know.
So when Messi comes to town, like when when LeBron comes to town, like when they play the Raptors, it just goes banana lands.
But it's Messi.
It's Messi. He's the greatest of all time. Like it's incredible. I'm really excited to see what he can do in Inter Miami. Sorry, but like. Honestly, I feel like he could score like 15 goals a game, maybe.
Yeah. We're going to see. He's going to be scoring a lot of goals, and he's going to be making a lot of money. But thank you all for joining us, and have a great night.